say you'll catch me.
What's shaking, Capricorn? Happy May to you. Hope you're doing great. Sorry I'm getting to these few days late. My life has been very busy and I've been trying to keep all of my tasks. And anyway, I like to bring my best to these, so just need to make sure I was in the right state for it. So here we are. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you have been here before, I'm doing these a little differently. So there's actually 12 separate videos. I might keep them this way for my own time management. This is actually working just a bit better right now. It made sense to do it. So please check your sun, your moon, and your rising signs. You might get messages in all of them, or none of them. These are general. I'm doing my best. And if you would like a personal reading, feel free to hit me up. tarotbytribe.com/book me. Love to do that. All my links are also below. So, also to conserve on time, I have already shuffled. Your cards are here, backs up on the spirit board. What I'm going to be doing here is going through some of the channeled messages because I have notes. While I was clearing the space, Spirit gave me messages for you. And then I'll flip the orientation of the camera here so you can see the cards. So, Capricorn, I was hearing about, first of all, I will tell you, it came up some different ways. I don't know if anybody here is a stunt pilot or dealing with stunt pilots or anything, but I was seeing something about a stunt pilot and like a really close call is what they were talking about. And there was a cautionary note about the Don Juan dilettante, and this came up different ways. They were talking about some cases, a situation where somebody might be just trying to show off for the sake of just showing off their skills, but it being kind of like a reckless maneuver that could be a close call for somebody. It could be metaphoric. It doesn't have to be an actual stunt pilot. It's just that was some of the imagery that I saw. And it had a vibe to it, though, where they were showing me, you know, somebody that was like in a romantic context. And I'll just say they were showing me a guy that was like a stunt pilot. He's in a plane. And there were some, like, females that were watching somewhere, and it was sort of a reckless situation that was being done by somebody who was kind of trying to, like, put on a show, but it was like he was out of his element, put it that way. And so that didn't look great, but they were saying it was going to be okay. And then I was seeing a whole other context on the Don Juan dilettante where they were showing me, like, it was more the harsh lessons that people have learned. They were showing me just somebody that didn't want to feel like a fool again, but it being like a new time right now where they were feeling really good about something that they'd accomplished. And I will just say they actually did show me this card here, 7, Triumph. This can sometimes be a card dealing with people that have strong Cancerian influence in their natal constitution, whether or not they're a Cancer sun. It could be moon rising. But actually, who just got that? Scorpio had just gotten that card too, and so did Sagittarius. Or was it Sagittarius? No, it was Sagittarius. You might be dealing with a Sagittarius or have some Sagittarius in your chart, in which case you might want to check out their readings too, because there might have been some messages around that for you. But they were saying something about the time that it's taken for an actual new start to kind of phase in. And for some people, you know, it could very well be even a 7-year cycle that has been going on. But they were talking about things that have just been, in some cases, kind of locked up. I'm hearing about secrets and people being like tight-lipped about the truth in situations that they didn't want it to get out, because I'm hearing in some cases about maternal influences on them that may or may not be deceased now, but in some cases like how structures and foundations were put upon this person and the lengths they would go to keep certain things hidden that they didn't want others to know because of how it was going to, look back on them. But they were saying that it's like been 7 really rough years of being confronted, and I'm hearing like hammered with the same like karmic lessons over and over and over again because of that old patterning, and somebody coming into a new way and just kind of feeling tested, if you will, by the new things that are showing up in their world, where it's like they don't want to feel like a fool, and they know that they've learned some difficult things, and they're showing me this Don Juan dilettante in the context of that person's psyche showing up kind of like, I'm hearing Prince Charming, they're showing me a knight, and then they're showing me this person that's just kind of like, no, I got your number, I know what you're all about, just go, and they're doing the swipe left, And in some cases, I'm hearing from some guides, though, that you need to know that whatever it was that you got through from all of that stuff, this card says Triumph. This is your Chariot card in the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck. It is one of the most successful cards you can get. It's a major influence of energy. They're saying it's like a major thing that has phased. And so it's like, no matter how sucky it was, whether you were in the right, you were in the wrong, all that stupid ego stuff, that's just like head games that keep you locked in the past, might be presenting you with an interesting opportunity right now to take a look at. Because they're saying some of you all might be tending to kind of like dismiss certain things a little bit prematurely in some cases, just because it gets your senses up about all that old abuse stuff, and it just being like, all right, I know about this shadow character, I know about this, this Don Juan swooping in and like trying to make a big thing, and it's always the same hot air. And they're saying in some cases that might be the case. And here's where Capricorn gets to decide whether or not they're in their feeling senses, because a lot of times Capricorn does not like to be there. And it's just like, nope, I'm powering through. I've got my mind made up. This is what I'm doing. And I don't owe anybody any freaking explanations. It's just like, I'm just going to do it. And, you can like get out of my fucking way. You can die. You can fall over. You can get on my page. I don't really care. I'm going. It's like, sometimes that's where Capricorn is. They're not feeling things. And they're just saying there's an opportunity here to witness yourself in action, whether or not you're self-sabotaging, because they're saying in some cases you might just be so traumatized from the ways that you've been hurt that you can't even be open to the possibility that this thing that showed up might actually be the Prince Charming that is like, okay, and they're saying in some cases it's going to be like you wanting to check in and see if it's like, really, nope, that shadow character, cut that shit off, or if it's like, wait a second, I'm just being jaded. Because I've been that abused and I've had that much negative stuff happen in the past, and they wanted me to just let you know that if that's resonating, you need to know this. Because that was what was facing me when I laid it down, and it just kind of like spread out. It was like really fancy how it did it, and it said guarded and protected Capricorn. So I'm just going to go ahead and pray on this one here. We haven't flipped your cards. This wasn't technically part of the reading. This was like just, well, of course it is. It's spirit probably giving the most important messages, actually. So we'll call it a bonus card. Here we go. Dear Archangel Michael, thank you for protecting my loved ones and me and ensuring that we're safe and that all of our needs are met. I now accept your help gratefully and gracefully, knowing that it's right for me and all others to accept heavenly assistance. Amen. All right. So, you're guarded and protected, Capricorn, and they're saying make sure that you know that you're not a fool, and that even if it feels like it's triggering you in some kind of way, they're saying triumph here. They're saying you've learned a lot, and that the wise thing that you know to do right now is to, instead of just like wanting to take action sometimes and just like fire off or do whatever, check in, see where it's hitting you. Because in some cases, there might be something really good there for you to let yourself enjoy. And in other cases, it might just be like reckless endangerment stuff, and you're going to know whether it's a close call or not, and you're smart enough to feel into it. And then I heard some very distinct words. I kept hearing something about the rising sun. I kept hearing rising sun, and I don't know if that was S-U-N, S-O-N. It could take on different meanings depending on who you are, but I heard it very distinctly from some of these guides about rising sun, and they kept showing me like a maternal figure. And so I don't know, it could even be like a deceased loved one. Sometimes they'll show up like that when I'm getting these messages where it's like somebody's mother, grandmother, sister, aunt, friend, neighbor, close associate, something from the past that may have passed on that was saying something about rising sun. And so they just had me write it down. I just wrote it both ways, rising sun. But yeah, so that's what I got for you, Capricorn, here. I'm going to go ahead and flip the orientation here so you can see the cards, and we're going to take them one by one. All right, so using the Rider-Waite-Smith book, Carolyn Mace archetype deck. Got the Mediator card showing up as your time-style energy. And Capricorn, this is kind of like a clue for you to keep in mind in situations. Because they say, a lot of times this is how situations might be unfolding. And, there's two sides to every coin, so every energy can play out in different ways. It might be how you're attempting to act or feel, and it could also be how others are sort of expressing themselves around you. So the card says, light attributes, gift for negotiating fairness and strategy in personal and professional life, respect for both sides of an argument. Shadow attribute, negotiating with an ulterior motive or hidden agenda, either personally or professionally. So I want to keep that in mind. They're saying in some cases there might be a situation where somebody actually needs a mediator. In some cases, I'm hearing that might be what this guarded and protective is all about, is like having, somebody that's capable of bridging that gap in a loving and fair manner. Sometimes that can be what that is. And in some cases, we're hearing about just third-party involvements that probably are, in some cases, going nowhere. And, well, maybe that's what's being left behind, because in your physical material realm with the Rider-Waite-Smith Tarot deck, we got the Five of Cups showing up upside down, which is, in my opinion, a good way to see that card. Sure, it still looks gloomy, but for many people, they're indicating that this is like the time right now where some of the sufferings have passed. I'm actually hearing about a rough 3 months for somebody, and they're saying that it's like, this might be a time where it kind of takes a turn. And I'm actually hearing for somebody that, if it was like an emotional thing too, it could have had something to do with some of the retrogrades and the eclipses going on. But this is also a card that can show up when we're dealing with just emotional situations, since it is cups. And they're also saying it has something to do with the ones that we've turned our back on, is what I'm hearing. And, in some cases, that's exactly what this looks like here. It's like, there's two people that have turned their back on something and they need a bridge. Yeah, here we go. More turning of the back. Using the John Holland Psychic Tarot Oracle deck, we've got the Firm Foundations card, which is your Four of Pentacles card if you're referencing a deck like this one, which is a lot to deal with financial situations. I'm hearing about somebody that's maybe turned their back on some situations that were emotionally unfulfilling that were actually helping them financially, though. And that, this might be a time where people are kind of reconsidering what it is that they need to be doing and where they need to be investing themselves, because clearly something wasn't working before, and it looks like it's just like maybe on the cusp of changing. And in some cases, it's having a major influence on material life. And so this could also deal with, if it has to deal with people in our life, Pentacles can be people that have Earth in their constitution like you, as well as Virgo people and Taurian people. And the Cups are going to be your Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio type people. And of course, that could be Sun, Moon, or Rising. But those are just ideas. But they're showing me clearly people that are turning their back on things and that are needing some kind of bridge here. And I'm hearing for some people it's financial bridge, and other people it's a third party to help reestablish trust. This could be showing up in the romance sector, since this is showing up with a romance card. But I use it in the personal sector too. It's a personal / romance sector with my readings, because not everybody is into something romantic right now. And so in some cases, they're just saying that what's really relevant this time is figuring out a way to bridge trust in situations where people might have felt like they've emotionally turned their back or had someone turn their back on them. And it might have had a financial implication. But they're saying that the situation calls for you to have faith here, and in some cases, perhaps a helping hand is what I'm hearing about. But, you know, Capricorn, they're saying that you have a chance to be, you know, your own best friend in all of this because of all the amazing things that you've learned. And just to make sure that you're not turning your back on things, especially if people are showing up with trusting situations, and maybe people that have been showing you how to be firm in situations where you've really had to hold it together, especially, you know, when it maybe had been a recent emotional crisis, because they're saying in some cases, you know, it's like you see this person's got wings on their head of light, they've got a good aim and a focus, and they're saying that, you know, it's good to just trust what you've learned in all of this, because I'll remind you, Archangel Michael showed up saying that you're guarded and protected. We already prayed on that. But we're going to seal it up on this practical advice and tip here from Archangel Michael. Again, about keeping your eyes on the target and attention, Capricorn, we seal it up here for you. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for helping me focus on my inner vision and intention. I ask you for your guidance in releasing any fears, doubts, or granting me the confidence, the courage to take action toward realizing my dreams. Amen. All right, Capricorn, I hope you liked that and that it was helpful. And if so, I really appreciate you thumbsing me up and sharing my content with anybody who it might be helpful for, and just staying tuned. If there's anything I can do for you, feel free to hit a brother up. Love to do your personal reading. All my links are below. If I don't hear from you, take care. God bless. We'll see you in a couple weeks. We're back for another one. Bye for now.